Hello, I'm Jack Valentine, and today we have a complex question to answer. Is Stray good? Originally announced in the June 2020 State of Play presentation, alongside Sony's new PlayStation 5 console, Stray, developed by Blue 12 Studios and published by Annapurna Interactive, has been on many folks' radar for some time. The trailers showed a little cat with a backpack wandering around a beautifully realized, neon-soaked city devoid of human life, interacting with bipedal humanoid bots with pixel-screened faces. Developers cite Kowloon Walled City as the main aesthetic influence of the game, which they saw as a setting that would greatly befit exploration as a player-controlled cat. So finally, in July of 2022, the game releases. It was received well critically, and people across the web have been leaving glowing reviews on account of the fact that the cat game has a cat in it. But are any of these reviews reliable? No, of course not. And as a result, if you've bought Stray before this moment, then you, my friend, were playing with fire. Who's to say that Stray is a good video game before I have had a chance to weigh in on it? So now, in August of 2022, after having played a good deal of the game, completing its story and almost all of its side activities, I ask, is Stray good? Yeah, it's alright. While it has stunning graphics, wonderful ambiance, and some great world design, the game doesn't offer a ton of fresh ideas. Granted, it does have a designated meow button, something that after Red Dead Redemption 2's dedicated pet button, I am glad to see implemented. As I said in my Games of the Decade video, every game should have a button to pet a beast. It actually does manage to make you really feel like a cat in more ways than one. While this does remove some challenge from the game itself, as well as any and all challenge that there could have been in platforming, it does reinforce the idea that you really embody a fluffy feline who wouldn't just randomly topple off a ledge. It features several sequences which see you fleeing from the head crabs from Half-Life, and a couple where you can fight back. Though I might not go as far as to call what Stray features combat. That's not supposed to be a slight against the game either. I actually love stuff with no combat, but these sequences do feel a tad off kilter. It also proves that over a decade on, popular culture is so reliant on internet memes that we're still using arrow to the knee jokes. But circling back to the question I opened this video with, perhaps in order to better gauge whether or not Stray is good, we must ask a question about the best part of the game, the cat. Is the cat in Stray good? Well, look no further for this answer, as I am a certified expert when it comes to lovable, fluffy demons, and I have the bona fides to back it up. Helping me answer this complex and layered inquiry in the most accurate way possible will be two friends, Bruce and Gregory. To make this research project as manageable as possible, I've broken my queries down into a short list. We'll start with the essentials. How soft is the cat in Stray? I've placed one of the highest hurdles before me at the start of this race, as despite the PlayStation 5's wonderful DualSense controller and its marvelous haptic feedback, it is impossible to know how nice it would be to pet the cat in Stray. I started my research by looking for some background on the ginger feline that players control in the game. A cursory Google search informed me that while the game Cat does not have a name, they were inspired by a cat belonging to one of the developers named Murta. Perhaps for my own sake, in not having to call the cat in Stray the cat in Stray one more time, I'll simply refer to them as Ginger. While I can rest a gentle palm on neither Ginger nor Murta, I feel decidedly confident in confirming that Murta, at least, looks highly pettable and very soft. The same is harder to say for Ginger. While they seem extremely confident around Stray's metal humanoids, Lord knows what they would do should a fleshed pitchfork descend upon them. However, it's a different story entirely with my research assistants, Bruce and Greg. In fact, throughout my years, I've never known a cat that I could not confirm was soft, and with these beautiful boys, it's no different. Every person I know who has ever stroked Bruce has sung a similar tune, declaring that it is as if he never lost his kitten fur and is one of the softest cats they have ever petted. Gregory is slightly older than Bruce and spent the first few years of his life as a stray. He has scars on one of his ears, a memory of a scrap that, based on his nature, I am certain he wanted no part in. While Greg's fur is far coarser than Bruce's, there is such an indescribable tenderness that he exudes wherever he goes, with whomever he meets, that I would call him equally as soft as Bruce. My next question question, how well can this kitty meow? The feline voice actor for Stray is a sweet-looking angel named Lala, providing her vocal talents for Ginger in the game. There is certainly a unique voice here. While pressing the circle button on the controller never creates a meow as defined as something that comes from my dear Greg, I must confess that I cannot call Lala's meow the strangest I've ever heard. As a mere night after adopting Bruce, I was awoken by this sound. I suppose all of this is to say that whom am I as a cat appreciator to say if Lala's sounds and by extension Ginger's are not as delightful as any sweet feline, because any sane person would say that they are. Now I ask, how cute are Ginger's beans? I cannot tell you. Literally, I cannot. The most obvious time that you should be able to observe the little pink legumes at the end of the cat's paws would be when they settle into sleep. However, Ginger seemingly strategically positions themselves in a way where they won't show us the goods. I attempted many times to position the camera in such a way where I could peer beneath their paw, but the game seemingly fought against me at every turn. If this game was truly made by cat lovers, which I believe it was, there is only one answer that makes sense. Sony are utterly lying about the next generation power of the PlayStation 5 console, insofar as they cannot render a cat's toe beans. This, however, is not an issue I have, as we say, IRL. Bruce and Greg have unsurprisingly cute beans that I squeal at whenever I see. Next, how brave is the cat in Stray? Based on my nearly 10 hours spent weaving my way through the underground cyber city, I feel confident in my assessment that Ginger is a very brave little cat. While player agency is something we could apply as a factor to the contrary, I would argue that the player is simply inputting the commands for actions that the player-controlled avatar is fully able to accomplish. Thus, we must conclude that Ginger is fully able to face the horrors of the Half-Life headcrabs without much more than a smitten meow in protest. They are brave enough to traipse through countless waterlogged drains and puddle-coated alleys, even brave enough to stand under a shower of gutter water. They are, however, seemingly not brave enough to hit a cop. There are several bots operating as the jackbooted thugs of the cyber state later in the game, and if the game is contemporary enough to offer me, a cat lover, a meow button, it should also offer me, a cop disliker, a hit a cop button. There would be no better declaration of Ginger's outright ACAB stance than to have them scratch the digital face off a cop, or perhaps push a flower pot onto their head or something. I can, however, confirm that this is an overwhelming amount of evidence to prove Ginger's grit. Both dear Bruce and Greg are not the bravest of lads. Bruce used to run away at the sound of my partner laughing, or if you moved on the sofa in a way that he wasn't expecting. Coming from the mean streets, I feel as though, could Greg communicate it to me, he would not like cops at all. But maybe the greatest demonstration of bravery from cat or human alike is letting oneself be loved and offering up your love in return. Finally, I ask a most vital question that we should take a few minutes to ponder. Is the cat in Stray better than either of my cats? No. But what kind of question is that, you ask? Most questions' answers are influenced by our pre-existing biases, but a question such as this is on a different playing field entirely. How could you ask someone to compare their sweet, fluffy babies to a digital feline? It would be like asking a parent to pick their favorite child, except harder. Because cats are better than children. Ultimately, any cat, whether corporeal or digital, is a wonderful gift to this world. But like anything in this world, the ones that matter most are the ones that are there when you need them and can bring you an unparalleled level of joy by simply showing you how much they like being with you. The ones that matter most are the ones that choose to be your friend, or better still, your family. My name's Jack Valentine. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.